Kyler Murray will be released by the Arizona Cardinals when the new league year opens up next Wednesday, as reported yesterday, which was, according to these reports, Murray's preferred outcome. He wanted to be released. He's already guaranteed just under $37 million for next year. Mike Florio reporting there are two teams he'd prefer to go to. The Raiders and the Vikings were teams that he would have been interested in. To me, Minnesota feels like option A, and that seems like the one that would make the most sense. We talked about earlier this week that, you got quarterbacks around the league that look at that situation and set up and go, that's one I want to be a part of. And it might financially make sense from Minnesota's standpoint to where, look, Russell Wilson did this with the Steelers, where the former team was on the hook for most of the bill. You assign a small deal that the new team has to pay out, and cost-effective wise, you basically just run it for a year with Kyler, get your competition for J.J. McCarthy, and then go from there. Seems like it would make the most sense.
I have thoughts on it, but go ahead, Q.
Well, no, I was just saying, he's already earned over $170 million in his career so far. I mean, that's pretty darn good. And I wonder, we talk about numbers oftentimes about how much guys have made at this point, because I always wonder, what are they going to be most attracted to with this next opportunity? For him, it might just be an opportunity because of how things have worked out so far in Arizona. But, is it money or is it the best situation possible? We've heard a lot of ties to the potential of Minnesota. That'd be really intriguing to see. You have Kevin O'Connell as the play caller. You have Justin Jefferson, who's arguably the best receiver in the NFL. I could see that. That could make a lot of sense. We talked about the New York Jets yesterday with Pete Prisco. What are they going to do? I mean, did they go that route? I mean, it feels like there's a number of organizations that are positioning themselves to tank maybe for next year's draft class while they rebuild around the quarterback position. And maybe there's some that feel like they're more in a window to compete and win right now. He's just such a unique talent. And in saying that, there's definitely some drawbacks. But he's a player that, if he's healthy, he can run, he can hurt you with his legs, he can make all the throws. But I do think the offense, if you looked at primarily what they did in Arizona, you're going to be in shotgun a lot. You're not going to be under center. That matters for some coaches versus others. I told you guys a little bit just doing some of the Falcons games last year. The conversations they had about Bijan Robinson when the quarterback was under center, how much better of a running back he was. He was averaging almost 2 more yards per attempt when quarterbacks were under center in Atlanta last year when they were running the football. And so if you're an OC and you're seeing this data and you're looking at it saying, man, we're averaging 2 more yards a carry with our best player, arguably the best running back in the league, it's hard not to want to say we need to do more stuff from under center. We need to do more play action from under center too, off of that, and boots and everything else that goes with it. Well, when you have a quarterback that's the size of Kyler Murray, you can make that work, but it's a lot more obvious that you're not going to be doing as much drop back pass because you can't see. I mean, it's hard for him to find throwing lanes unless he's getting out of the pocket or setting deep back into the pocket. So that's the one drawback to Kyler Murray is, even though he's a talent, he's experienced, that I think he's one of those guys, it's worth bringing him in if you want to try to win some football games. There's going to be some things that are going to change. And if you look at Minnesota specifically, I look at that pairing and say, yeah, that'd be great to see what he'd look like in that system. But I don't know that would help Justin Jefferson get more attempts, or more targets during the course of a game. I feel like they might be somewhat more limited with his ability, just sheerly from his size. I mean, I know we joke about it sometimes, but in all honesty, it does play a factor in everything.
Well, it plays a factor because he has an injury history as well, right? Like he dealt with the Liz Frank injury this past season. He's gone through an ACL repair, and I mean he's not old by any stretch of the imagination, but he's certainly not young. So his size and his health certainly needs to play a part in if you take a chance. I think this is a boom or bust setup. I wonder what him being released. I wonder what his price tag will be from him and his representation, that could play a major part in it. He may demand and command a franchise quarterback's contract. How will the franchises respond to that? Or there could be the possibility that he wants to go somewhere where he can get some get back for the way, players always feel like they were treated a certain way when relationships end this way. You can't assume that he's happy about the situation with Arizona. Thus, the report saying that this is the outcome that he wanted, was to get out of there. I heard Q mention a team yesterday when we were talking about potential destinations of quarterbacks going, and one of the teams that was thrown out there was pretty interesting. And the first thing I thought about when I heard this was this could be a potential very, very big opportunity to everybody to get something that they would want out of it. Could be the Rams. The Rams could be an interesting landing place. He's familiar with the division. It's a division that was, it was top heavy with two teams, and the Rams being the second team to Seattle Seahawks. And he'd get an opportunity to play against the team that in some type, in some ways threw shade at him. I mean, the whole video game and the contract, the constant badgering and conversations that played out in the public and in the media about his questioning his dedication or his maturity level, get off of the video games, get in the playbook, things like that. I mean, he could, more often than not, high-level competitive guys would love to get an opportunity to get back at their team. I know I did. I had an opportunity to go to Green Bay. I chose the New York
Sports
Giants.
isn't too far from there, right?
That's a good
Oh,
one.
really?
That's a great call.
Well,
Was that El Segundo is over there?
El Segundo, yeah. Well, right next to Culver City, right? Yeah, you're right.
Call.
Now that I'm thinking about
Can
it.
we get a round of applause for Brady Quinn pointing that
What a
out? Who knew? Way to appeal to gamers.
It'd be interesting to see what Mike McCarthy wants to do in Pittsburgh. That could be an interesting destination. If I'm him, I probably want to stay away from the Jets. I probably don't want to touch that.
Oh, God, yeah.
There's a little bit, but this makes it a very interesting
Probably
situation that it's a release.
Else,
Well, it's a release, not a trade. So this will make for an interesting scenario as to how it plays out. One, where does Kyler Murray want to play? Two, who wants him? And three, are they going to be able to meet halfway in terms of what they're going to want to give or what they're going to want to take?
Can I read the social
real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one of the reasons why he wanted the release too is I don't believe he had a no trade clause in this contract, so he didn't want to leave it up to Arizona to send him to whichever team was the highest bidder via a trade. So I think that had something to do with it too, and just the fact that if you looked at the structure of the contract, it was going to be a significant cap hit, and I don't know that he wanted to put himself in a situation where he didn't have any guaranteed monies, left on that deal. So that most likely was why he opted for or said it was like the scenario that he wanted. I think it works for both parties. At the end of the day too, wherever he signs, like they could get some compensatory draft picks that come their way. And so it probably works out in the end if you really think about it. Like that's kind of like
Arizona would get compensatory?
Yeah, when he goes and signs somewhere else.
Why is that? If they're releasing him, he's released, right? How does that work?
That's correct. But when you move on and they have a guy signed somewhere else, there'll oftentimes be, depending on what they bring in and what they let go, they'll be rewarded compensatory picks, like a third round compensatory pick.
Yeah. I had heard that.
I wish I could explain the formula to you, but it's like the most vague thing ever, and it's how it works, right?
Because I was confused as to why you would release him if he has trade value. Why
because
would
they
you
probably
release
felt
him?
like they'll get a compensatory pick out of it based on where he'll sign. It'll probably be a third rounder, and because that's probably what they could get anyway. But again, it's a very confusing process. If you look at, for example, the fact that the Atlanta Falcons, get a general manager who comes from the Chicago Bears and, you think falls into a certain category, and the Bears, they would get some, draft picks.
He's black, dog.
Yeah, but of course they say Matt Ryan's the ultimate decision maker. So, however that works, the Bears don't get any compensatory picks. So,
by the way, I heard that Kyler Murray actually, that was part of the concessions made in his contract with the no trade. He'd be given the ability to play Call of Duty 4 nights a week. So that was part of the get back on some of the dealings that they had there. I'm just reading what I was told.
Jonas Knox keeps the one-liners coming.
He did have a good tweet. Like his was a very good tweet.
And I was going to get to that because LeVar makes it out like the guy might have some venom in his body, ready to get back at the Cardinals.
All
right, so this is from Kyler Murray. This sounds like a very humble and gracious human being. All right. From Kyler Murray: to everyone that supported me and showed kindness to my family and during my time in Arizona, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I wanted nothing more than to be the one to end the 77-year drought for this organization. I'm sorry I failed us. I wish this community and my brothers nothing but the best. I am no stranger to adversity. I'm prepared for whatever's next. I trust in God and my work ethic. I truly believe my best ball is in front of me, and I look forward to proving it. Godspeed. That didn't sound like somebody who's ready for some get back on the Cardinals, right? That sounds like somebody who's appreciative, and then he's going to go somewhere else now and try and pursue his dream of winning a Super Bowl. That's what it reads.
That's a good approach to the rules of engagement. So he learned a little bit more than just switching weapons on Call of Duty.
Dang, even LeVar's getting in on this.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Do
you? I mean, I haven't been a gamer for a while. Is it mostly Call of Duty, you think? Because it wasn't that what it synced up with, where like his usage time and all that kind of synced up with the Call of Duty release?
I think. I don't know. I don't play video games.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a chess guy, but each their own.
You like them big or small?
He's taking shots at you, Navar.
You like them big or small?
The Vergt.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, so, hey, we'll get to see, because if you look around, I don't know that there are as many options as maybe there might seem on the surface for him.
He's got to be the most desired of all the potential quarterbacks you'd bring in. Is that a fair way of putting it?
Yeah, 100%. But Pittsburgh, I could see if they decide to. Or though, if you're Pittsburgh, would you wait around for Rodgers to make the decision, or would you try and give this a spin with Kyler Murray and say, "Hey, thank you"?
Can I throw this out there?
Yeah,
I think everyone's waiting on Minnesota. I don't think it's about Pittsburgh, because I even think Rodgers falls in that category. With the sniffing around that's been done in the past by both sides. I think the only thing that could be holding back Aaron Rodgers from wanting to go to Minnesota and finish his career there is the whole playing the Packers twice a year, but also the fact that that's what Brett did. I mean, they didn't follow the exact same path, but it's pretty damn close. There was a Pittsburgh stop in between, and that's been the only difference. But could you imagine if Rodgers went to Minnesota too and finished his career there? I mean, that's with that team around him and Justin Jefferson to throw to him, my goodness. But I do think that's the domino. I think whatever Minnesota decides to do, it's that desirable of an organization from every capacity. Look at the NFL PA report cards, or the ones, that got leaked, not the PAs or however they're defining them. It's one of the best organizations. They take care of their players. Kevin O'Connell's got an incredible relationship with his players and reputation amongst players. I can't understate how good Justin Jefferson is. And for a quarterback, that is, if you're going to try to leave and go somewhere, you want a guy who can separate, who can make contested catches, who can do it all. He's that. So I look at it and say, that to me is the domino. It's not even it's not what quarterback necessarily, it's just what they decide to do. And then I think everything else falls into place.
It's got to be an awkward feeling for 9, looking around, all these guys getting hitting the open market.
Is that right?
Cheesiest damn thing ever.
And they all want his gig, and the Vikings all want somebody else other than him.
And he put it on a platter.
Dang. It's just, that's got to be got to be a miserable existence because if the Vikings do end up signing Kyler Murray, he's your starter. Like, there's not even a thought that you would consider calling this an open competition. Like that would be your starter that you're looking at, and he's just going to have to. It almost feels like J.J. McCarthy's entering Anthony Richardson territory, to where they're like, "Hey, man, we spent a high draft pick on you, but sorry, we got to move in a different direction." And it feels like the days are numbered there.